Hello everyone, Akash here with a new update on my Attack on Titan inspired moment shooter called Exolien. A few months ago I added multiplayer and it was fun of course, but I didn't care about gameplay at that moment, so there wasn't much to do, and it's finally time to fix that. This video will be a fun one, so let's go! Since Exolien is a shooter game, I need to make shooting actually interesting and satisfying. Before this, I had a fully random spreading system and a small vertical recoil for the guns, but that wasn't very cool since it wasn't skill-based. So now I have actual spray patterns like in all those cool AAA games. I use curves to describe horizontal camera movement, so creating a spray pattern is pretty intuitive. Maybe I'll make a tutorial about it someday. So now when we have spray patterns, shooting should be more skill-based. But you know what's not very skill-based? Yep, aim assistance which I implemented a few months ago. Completely removing it is not a very good idea, cause in that case any air fight becomes too long and usually ends with someone picking a good spot and shooting while standing still, which is not acceptable in a moment shooter. So yeah, I rebalanced it a bit and now aim assistance power scales with player speed. This means that when you stand still, your aim assist is disabled, but when you're going fast, aim assistance starts working. I guess it's a good compromise between skill-based and fun gameplay. Next problem is that it's currently really hard to find enemies on the map, so the gameplay doesn't feel that fun and engaging. We need something like a radar that will show where all the enemies are, and yeah, I implemented one. It's pretty flexible, it does not depend on the map you're using it on since it's using render targets, and it displays enemies' location and movement direction. So I guess the problem has been solved. Another problem we faced back then was an ability to differentiate players. Of course now we have player customization, but it's still not good enough. It would be better if you could see player's name right above his head like in every normal game. And this is how I decided to implement player health bars, which not only show players' names but also their health. This health bar is visible when you're targeting a player or standing close to him. But probably the main problem of my game, apart from the lack of sound, is the lack of damage indicators, so you can't even tell if you are getting shot at, which is totally not cool. So I just had to implement some damage indicators. I started by adding some post-processing effects when player gets damaged, and it already looked much better. But you know, in normal games you have this arrow or something pointing in the direction the bullet came from, so I guess I need this too. This thing was kinda tricky to implement, but in the end I managed to get it right. So now you know when you're getting damaged, but what happens when your HP runs out? Correct, you die. But since this isn't real life, you actually care who killed you, so you can go and avenge yourself. In-game of course. To let the player know who killed him, I decided to add this simple death screen. It shows the name of the player who killed you, his appearance, health and the weapon he used. This makes dying a little more satisfying, and I don't care how cursed this may sound. Alright, you died, what's next? You need to respawn. Currently the game will spawn you on a random spawn point across the map, which is not very fun, so I decided that you should respawn close to the area where all other players are. Of course, game will check first if there are any enemies right at the spawn point, so you won't get spawn killed that often, don't worry. Okay, I got rather tired of all those game mechanics. Let's do something relaxing, like UI design for example. No, seriously, there is something very satisfying about laying out all these menus and adding speed animations to them. So I decided to completely remake options menu, since it looked kinda small. I want to have something cool and big, and not this tiny abomination. In the end, I chose to make something similar to Just Cause's style of options menu, with categories on the left and all the options in the middle. And it turned out to look rather interesting. I also improved my option system, so now adding a new option is just a matter of clicking a few buttons. Next, I got to work on the tab menu, you know, the one that shows who is the best in the match. It wasn't that hard to implement. At first, I had some issues with placing players in the right order, but then I found a pretty useful free blueprint library in the marketplace that helped me with sorting arrays. In the end, I think this menu turned out to look rather cool. Another feature that is present in pretty much every multiplayer action game is skill feed. It's these small notifications which pop up when one player kills another. And you guessed it, I added kill feed into my game. It doesn't change much, but I think it's a pretty nice feature to have. Alright, now let's move to something more important. Currently the game starts even when there is only one player waiting for the others, and this is a problem. If we're going to have proper game modes with time limits and stuff, we should let players load up first and then start the game. For this purpose I added a waiting room. Basically you join a lobby and wait for other players to connect, and then press ready button. After some time the game starts. This system not only solves the problem, it also makes the game look more professional or something, so yeah, I like it. Since I already said something about proper game modes, let's add one. I decided to go with the classic deathmatch, where everyone fights for himself. After spending some time, I implemented time limit and winning for the player with the best score. Then I decided that this mode lacks some cool features, so I decided to add crown system. Now the best player in the match gets crowned. It looks cool, it gives you motivation to try hard, but this is not its only purpose. Mainly, a crown increases the price for the player's head, meaning that when you kill a player with a crown, you get additional score. This way low skill players will be rewarded for defeating the stronger ones. Alright, now when we have a bunch of new features and a proper game mode, it's finally time to test things in a real battle. Sending the game to my friend, launching, trying to join, and it's not working. Damn it! Okay, should be an easy fix. So I finally managed to get the game working, so at least we can really test out the game. So yeah, this time Exolien felt like a real game. Of course, there were some issues like radar not working sometimes and target locking having no cooldown, which made the whole gunplay kinda broken. I fixed that and now the game is a little more balanced, but I still have a lot of work to do. Anyway, it was still a really nice improvement on the game and I hope you liked it. I surely did. I hope to make a bunch of new videos the following month, so stay tuned and subscribe not to miss something cool. Till next time, bye!